We are Anka. Stay tuned for updated real news.
Hello, Anka Daily News viewers. We continue to bring you the most striking and surprising moments of the war. As much as the violence of the war on the front lines, the unexpected events that occur from time to time also have great repercussions. Such events reveal the chaotic nature of war and show how devastating mistakes in military planning can be. The latest incident was recorded as one of the moments of the war that upset all calculations. The sound of an explosion and rising flames echoed across Russian territory. This time, however, it was not the Ukrainian army that organized the attack. As the images emerged, the details of the incident became clearer. One of Russia's smart aircrafts, equipped with the most advanced technologies, unexpectedly struck its own country. Although military experts state that such incidents are rare, it proved once again that anything can happen on the battlefield at any time. It remains to be seen whether this incident was just a momentary mistake or whether it points to bigger problems in the Russian Air Force. This explosion, which raised serious questions about Russia's military power and defense systems, has also caused widespread repercussions around the world. Moreover, this incident is not isolated. Recently, it was also revealed that another Russian warplane had hit its own territory. Could these successive developments indicate serious problems in the coordination of the Russian military? What happened behind the scenes of these dramatic events? What could be the reason for these mistakes in the Russian military? With images and detailed analysis, we'll examine all the developments with you. Before we get to our report, though, a quick reminder. The Anka Daily News team is definitely real. None of my team members or me are artificial intelligence. Even though AI is very advanced, it's still not as good as us. By the way, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss our daily reports and explanations. We do read all the comments you leave on our videos, so please continue to share your ideas about our content. Tell us in the comments what content you'd like to see on the Anka Daily News channel. And now let us begin if you're ready. Anka Daily News reports. As the Russia-Ukraine war enters its third year, the incidents of friendly fire by the Russian military on its own territory are on the rise. Most recently, an R-27 guided missile fired by a Russian fighter jet crashed near the Russian village of Nikolskoye, once again highlighting coordination problems in Moscow's military systems. This incident, which took place in the border regions of Ukraine, shows the threat posed by Russia's technical failures and inaccurate targeting systems in its airstrikes. According to Russian telegram channels, since the beginning of the year, Russian aircrafts have fired at least 17 bombs and 3 missiles into their own territory and occupied Ukrainian regions. These include the UMPB-250 smart bomb that almost completely destroyed a village in the Belgorod region. In total, Putin's Air Force has allegedly dropped 165 bombs on Russian residential areas. These bombs, which the Kremlin touts as superior military technology, cause massive civilian casualties due to inaccurate targeting and poor coordination. The UMPB-250 bomb was developed as a modernized version of the Soviet-era FAB-250 munition. Equipped with steering systems, antennas, and a turbojet power unit, it was described as smart. However, due to the lack of training of Russian pilots, incorrect targeting, and faulty navigation systems, these bombs started to fall on Russian villages instead of Ukraine. Cases of friendly fire in the Belgorod and Kursk regions show how the war has spilled over into Russian territory. In this latest incident, an R-27 air-to-air missile was reportedly fired by a Russian fighter jet and landed just 100 meters from a building complex in Nikolskoye. Fortunately, there were no casualties, but the fall of the missile caused great fear among civilians in the area. It's clear that the Russian military's airstrikes in areas bordering Ukraine have now become a major threat to its own citizens. On the other hand, another tragic news from Russia has once again revealed the military and economic collapse of the country. Security camera footage showed that two Russian oil tanker drivers were killed in a horrific accident. In the footage, two men are seen trying to fix a malfunction in the back of the tanker. However, they started welding while there was still fuel inside, leading to a deadly explosion. The tanker shattered with a huge explosion, killing the two men instantly. Local sources claim that the two drivers were Russian civilians fleeing the effects of the war and were forced to work there. While Russia has suffered many labor losses due to military mobilization, there are growing allegations that the government is forcing citizens fleeing the war to do hard labor. This chaotic situation inside Russia shows a major breakdown in the Putin administration's military strategy. Warplanes bombing their own territory on the one hand and the tragic deaths of forced laborers on the other reveal that Russia has reached an unsustainable point both militarily and economically. The Russian army's lack of coordination, training, and technological inadequacies have been a major problem since the beginning of the war. While Russia's air power has been weakening in the face of recent Ukrainian counterattacks and high-tech weapon systems provided by the West, the increasing number of such friendly fire incidents is putting the Kremlin's military plans in jeopardy. At the beginning of the war, Russia thought it would quickly take over Ukraine. However, Moscow is now suffering heavy losses not only in Ukraine but also at home. The Russian army, struggling to hold on to the territory it occupied, has now become a threat to its own people and cities. Questions remain about how Putin can manage this crisis, how long the Russian people's patience will last, and how the war's effects inside Russia will grow. But recent events show that the Kremlin's smart weapons only pose a greater danger to the Russian people. As the war enters its third year, Russia's military mistakes and lack of coordination are even more glaring. Having struggled to manage its occupation operations in Ukraine, the Kremlin is now losing control on its own soil. Mistargeting by warplanes, bombs exploding in civilian areas, and incidents of friendly fire are increasingly becoming a threat to the Russian population. In the midst of this chaos, one of the biggest questions is how the Putin administration will manage the situation. As the effects of the war grow inside Russia, the public's patience is wearing thin. As the Kremlin's war strategy collapses, domestic unrest is growing. How much longer can the Russian people endure the government's failed military policies? What do you think? How do you think these military mistakes and friendly fire incidents in Russia will affect the course of the war? Is there a way out of this crisis for Putin? Do you think the attitude of the Russian people towards these war policies will change? Let us know in the comments. We read and care about your points of view.